All right, guys, so this story in Newsweek is absolutely astonishing. I had to share this with you. They talk about mental health problems with the younger generation. And whoo, it's worse than I thought. Now, look, this opens an interesting question. Has mental health always been this bad among every generation, and this is just the first generation that's honest about it? Or is there something that's uniquely bad about the mental health of this generation in particular? I'll leave that up to you guys. In fact, go ahead and put your opinion on that in the comment section. It's an interesting question, right? But here's what they say. The generation that grew up in a post 9/11 world is experiencing higher rates of reported mental health problems than any other generation before them, and it is likely to create a higher demand in the mental health industry for years to come. According to a new report from data management firm Harmony Healthcare IT, a whopping 61% of Gen Z have been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. Okay, look, admittedly, I don't know much about the people who commissioned this poll, Harmony Healthcare IT, and I don't know, do they have some sort of conflict of interest here to try to make it seem like, hey, you have all these mental health problems, come to us for help? I don't know, maybe, but, look, even if you take that number and just slice it in half, right? 30% of Gen Z has a mental health disorder. And is it overstated that much? No. But even if you say, about half, drop it 10 percentage points, about half of Gen Zers have a mental health anxiety disorder. That's a big deal. So they say Gen Z encompasses adults age 18 to 26, following millennials. Much of Gen Z were just infants when September 11th unfolded and experienced the majority of this century's mass shootings while they were in school themselves. The generation that is now being dubbed America's most anxious is more likely to seek therapy than any other generation before them. All right, so let's break down why this could be, right? So they mentioned 9/11, but they were little kids when 9/11 happened. They don't remember any of that really. They bring up the mass shootings. Is that something that might be leading to mental health issues? I mean, sure. Even though we have more mass shootings than any other country, full stop, it's still relatively statistically not 99.5% of these kids are not going to experience a mass shooting. But is it just the fact that we know they happen anywhere and everywhere that might be contributing to anxiety? Sure, I mean, I think you can make that argument. But at the same time, I mean, the things that impact people on a daily basis are probably more so leading to anxiety stuff, right? That's what my guess would be. So I hate to make that boomer sounding argument or whatever, but there might be some grain of truth in it. I mean, this is the social media generation, right? Everybody's either on Instagram or on TikTok or on Twitter/X or, I mean, Facebook, I guess, is boomer central now, and not many of these young kids are on Facebook, but it's the most plugged in, interconnected generation of all time. And I mean, I think it's fair to say that there are many trends on social media that are just unhealthy. Right? Everybody's always comparing themselves to somebody else and judging themselves harshly. And it's almost like everybody on social media presents a North Korean version of themselves. You know what I mean? Just a propaganda version of themselves. Everything actually is perfect. I have the best girlfriend and I have the best boyfriend and I have the best life. And look at me on vacation. And look, I'm so happy. My smile's not fake at all, bro. Here I am tanned. Here I am dancing. Here I am doing... And... I mean, that shit definitely is going to make people unhappy, right? Just presenting this caricature, this cartoonish version of yourself, trying to keep up with the social posturing to this popularity contest. I mean, every generation has had their version of that, but it's just worse now with social media. So is social media something that might be leading to these problems? Yes. Are people more antisocial than ever because we're now communicating through the internet, not as much in person? Yes. Also, there's just not many prospects in terms of bright futures. Climbing that economic ladder is more and more difficult. More people are living at home than ever before. So that can add to the problems for sure. Just a general, societal decline and dysfunction. I feel like all that stuff can add to it. Now, but then we get to the question of okay, they're more likely to seek therapy. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, for many of them, I'd say it's probably a good thing, right? And by the same token, I think medication that can address anxiety stuff or antidepressant stuff, that stuff, it's probably good that these people are more honest about how they feel and try to do something to change it. You know what I mean? So from that perspective, it might be a positive thing. I know some people are concerned about over-medication or whatever, and there might be a legitimate concern there. I don't know how legitimate it would be, but there's a debate to be had on that front. But it is just terrifying and sad that so many people are apparently miserable or very anxious as part of the younger generation. And, what my reaction to this would be is, number one, don't be afraid to seek help, right? Friends, family, therapy, whatever it may be, medication if need be, right? And then also you have to pair that with just the basic stuff, which everybody overlooks because it seems so cliche, but it's also true, right? You got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your health. Keep your environment nice and orderly. Don't be like a total slob. Try to have a better diet. Try to exercise. But beyond that, I think the most important thing is you have to have at least one thing that you're really passionate about. And that might be a problem too among the younger generation, is that maybe there aren't as many people who have a passion that drives them, right? Because it's like unlimited options mixed with social media sucking away your time like a succubus, and at the end of it, you don't feel great, right? People being more antisocial. You have to find at least one thing, preferably two, that you're just absolutely obsessed with, whether it be a sport, whether it be a hobby, whether it be a job you actually are down for, whatever it might be. You have to find something that you're absolutely obsessed with and you can give your all to and you can try desperately to improve. I think that's having that passion drive you is one of the most necessary things for well-being and balancing out your mental state. And look, for some small percentage, people might do everything right and then still be suffering. Okay, well then for that person, it is medication and it is therapy that you're going to need help. But for a lot of people, if you find a passion or you find multiple passions and you wake up excited to do those things, you'd be surprised how many things fall in line and become good once you find something to give your all to that really feels like drives you and gives you meaning. And it could be something that's personal. Like I said, it could be a hobby, it could be a sport, it could be something political, or involving others. It could be charity, okay? It could be anything where you feel like, yes, I'm excited to do this thing, but there's got to be something. And, I don't know, maybe people struggle with that now more than ever because there's not so many leaders who can offer you good direction these days, I feel like. I feel like it's a very dog-eat-dog, every man and woman for themselves type situation. And there aren't many role models or people to guide young people in a proper direction. And that's sad. That's sad. So they say Gen Z is 37% more likely to go to therapy or receive mental health treatment compared to a slightly lower amount of 35% of millennials, 26% of Gen X, 22% of baby boomers, and 15% of silent generation, according to the American Psychiatric Association. The rise in therapy seeking is giving an overall boost to the mental health industry as a whole. After all, the number of Americans seeking mental health treatment increased almost twofold over the past decade. So again, the question is this just now people are more honest with themselves and with the world than they've been previously? Or is it actually true that the younger generation is struggling more mentally? Or is it both, right? Is it a mix of both? I don't know. I lean towards probably a mix of both. In some ways, they might be struggling more because the world they're born into is somehow even more messed up, right? But I bet they're also more honest about it. So it could be a mix of both things, in my opinion. I'm curious what you guys think. While only 13% of American adults had visited a mental health professional in 2004, that number grew to 23% in 2022, according to Gallup polls. Again, whatever helps you, man. If it's therapy mixed with medication, mixed with getting your life in order, probably all of those things together. If you got to tackle the problem in multiple ways, then do it, right? Part of the increase in treatment seeking is attributed to the coronavirus pandemic. Oh, that makes sense. It didn't even occur to me that would be a huge part of it, but it makes sense. As young adults reported roughly a 5% increase in mental health treatment from 2019 to 2021, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Without a doubt, shortly after the pandemic started, there was a huge demand for our services. All right, so there you have it, man. Depression and anxiety, all-time highs. Yeah, and I guess it was sparked with the pandemic and kept getting exacerbated and worse. People weren't able to reset mentally after that pandemic was threw a wrench in everybody's life. Over 1 million deaths, normal life disrupted in a brazen fashion. I don't know, man, but this article makes me sad. I hope we find a way to dig ourselves out of this hole because this is, it seems unsustainable to say the least. All right, guys, that is the show. I love you all very much, as always. Please do me a big favor. Click that subscribe button. Click that like button. Click that bell icon so you get a notification every single time a video drops. I would deeply, deeply appreciate that. And you can support the show on Patreon, link below. Remember, I've never had a conversation with an advertiser. You guys help build this show from the ground up. If you want to donate $2 a month or $5 a month, it means the world to me. It helps out tremendously. You have no idea. You can do that below. Thank you to everybody who already does support the show. You guys really make it work. And you could also support Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack if you'd like. That link is below as well. You could tip on YouTube with the thanks button. However you can help out. And if you can't, it's okay, brothers and sisters. I still love you to death. I'm still going to come to you every day, and I'm still going to give you the news and my goofy ass takes on it. So love you all. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.